What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review, coming out of Long Island, New York. With me today, we got, what's your favorite scary movie, Brandon?
Not this one.
We got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah, we're back, guys. We missed you guys last week, man. We had a bunch of stuff going on in the houses. I had a whole stomach flu situation going on in this house. My whole entire family had a stomach bug. And then we had other things going on in the other houses there with my buddies over here. Yeah. But we did get a chance. We did not see Creed 3. Creed 3 was a shit show. We were not meant to see Creed 3. And it was almost the same thing for Scream 6. Dude, did I tell you guys I got stuck in an hour and a half of traffic between two exits? They closed the LIE from exit 52 to 53, and I could not get to Stony Brook. It was ridiculous. Al went by himself to see Scream 6. Yeah. Then last night, me and B went to go see Scream 6. The only thing was, B went to a different theater. I went to Stony Brook. B went to Levittown. All right.
Oh my God.
This is why you don't let the fiancés look at the test and give you the information.
Yeah, that's too many AMCs close to us because there was still one in the middle. Could have went to the one in Huntington. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are back today to talk to you guys about Scream 6 and to talk to you guys about the last episode or the last two episodes of The Last of Us because we missed you guys last week. And we're going to get you guys ready for Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Next DC movie, DCEU. We'll see what goes on with that. But let's get into it. Non-spoilers, because we have so much stuff to talk about, B. Non-spoiler review. What was your thoughts of watching Scream 6 by yourself at Levittown?
I will say that this Scream 6 was way better than last year's Scream, which is weird for me to say that Scream came out last year. I thought about it. I was like, wait, when did Scream 5 come out or Scream come out? And I was like, that was last year. And I was like, oh, so I did like it better than that one, but there was just too much stupidness in the mix of really good things.
Right. I got you, man. I got to tell you, I thought the same thing. I was like, wait a minute, Scream 5 or Scream 2022, because they didn't want to put the 5 on there. Scream 2022 was, I thought it was good. I still think Scream 2022 is a little bit, I don't know if I had more fun. I thought they were equal, dude. I really do. If I think about it right now, I had fun with this Scream. And I think there was a better movie or an interesting concept had they played it out the way that they started the movie. I would have, because when they started the movie, I was like, wait a minute.
That was crazy.
And then all of a sudden it was like, no, we're still doing the same old thing.
Dude, I thought that opening was talk about more of that in the spoiler section.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, isn't he from Spider-Man? Al Buggy, man, you saw this before we did, man. How was your trip at the movies to see Scream 6?
Up until the last act, I was going to say it was better than last year's, but as an overall, I have to go with last year's.
Last year, right? I think that's what was like tough.
Yeah, because it reinvented Scream, and it did it well. It did it right throughout the whole movie. This one had me up until that final scene. You know, the reveal just ruined the whole beginning of the movie for me because there was once they revealed who Ghostface or who the Ghostface were.
Right.
I was like, there's no way. There was nothing where you
guys have to tell me about that in the spoiler section, how it ruined the beginning of the movie for you guys.
Well, because when you think back and you're like, all right, there's no way that person was Ghostface for that kill. There was no way this one got away with that cover up, to justify throwing everybody off their scent. But because up until then, I thought all the acting was done well.
Me too.
All the storylines, the bringing of, what's his name? Chad and Tara, bringing those characters, making them a love interest, making, the possibility of the Sam character could she be the ghost face? Because that's where
Yeah.
for a second I thought they were going.
Me too,
So,
man.
yeah, okay, so, like, there was a lot of stuff they were doing well to throw, like, little twists and then they had that conversation, this is a franchise,
It's
so
a
everything's
franchise.
out the window. I was like, "Alright, yeah, even the
Yeah.
legacy characters can get it." I'm like, "Alright, good, Courtney Cox is gone." I'm like, I was excited. So when that last battle came out, I was like, "Ah, this just ruined everything that led up to it for me," at least for me.
I got you. So we'll get a little bit more in depth there. But listen, let's get to the bottom line. For the people who did not see Scream 6 yet, would you guys recommend these people see it in the theaters? I'm going to say a solid, yeah, man. It was a good time. If you like horror movies, this one's a little bit more butchery than the previous installments. And actually, last year was pretty butchery also. It was a little deep. But this one I felt was a little aggressive. And there was a
Okay.
reason for it because you find out why he's so aggressive. Ghostface is in this one, why he's so like angry and why he's killing. So it was a little bit more gruesome. But as far as a Scream movie and what they achieved, I thought they did a great job. This is a franchise that I felt like Scream 1 and 2 were Scream 1 was fantastic. Scream 2 was like, it's okay, it wasn't as good as Scream 1. Scream 3 and 4, I was like, okay, this shit is going into the shitter like all horror movies do. Scream 5 brought it back. Scream 6 is keeping it up there. So I did enjoy it. I'm looking forward to a Scream 7. I just maybe hope they take a little bit of time to work the concepts out because I got some great ideas for Scream 7. And I also think they may be going somewhere with Scream 7. So we'll see. Uh, Al, your recommendation?
Yeah, definitely check it out.
Mhm.
It's like I said, lower your expectations for the ending, but throughout it's good. I'd like they bring the intro kill back. And I thought, it was kind of corny, but I like the way it played out. I like the
Yeah.
little twist where I thought they were revealing Ghostface to us right from the jump.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of horror movies, if you're a fan of the Scream franchise, you'll enjoy this episode.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. How about you, B? Recommendation?
I would say check it out in the theater. I think the opening for
Yeah.
this movie was just as good, if not better, than Drew Barrymore's opening in the original Scream.
Wow, that's deep, man. All right, let's talk a little bit more in depth on it now. So, listen, for the people who have not seen Scream 6, you heard it from the three of us here, the core three, uh, to go ahead and check it out in the theaters. Have yourself a good time. Again, for those that are into horror movies, I know a lot of people are not into that genre because it's a little gruesome, a little bloody, and a little you you realize you're a little crazy yourself when you watch these movies. You're like, I enjoyed that, and you're like, you just watch people get killed, like a
No, they got stabbed
little
a lot.
macabre. They got
Not
stabbed a lot.
yeah, okay. The scary part is when you sit there saying how they should have done it. Like when you're critiquing a murder, what does
Dude,
it say about
Yo,
the
that?
had he done it
whole
just like this
dude,
instead?
the
Like,
whole ending, I was like, why you do like that? What are you doing?
dude, there's one kill in this movie where I was just like, oh, dude, okay, a couple of them. All right, so listen, you guys here, we want to talk about this. So that means it's a good movie. So we're gonna go ahead and go right into the spoiler section now. So, fellas, I don't know for you guys. I haven't seen many movies this year. I've seen a couple of movies, Ant-Man and Megan and all this stuff like that. So far, I think Scream 6 so far has been my best time at the theaters this year in the first 3 months of 2023. I think right below it is Megan, which is awesome. So top two right now for me are horror movies.
Mhm.
I had a great time watching this movie, man. And again, Al, just like you just said before in the non-spoiler section, is that the intro, dude, when he pulled the mask off right in the first few minutes of the movie, I was like, oh, this is crazy now. Now we're gonna have to figure out how they find out it's him. And meanwhile, we'll always know it's him throughout the entire movie. And then
Mhm.
they got him. Because I thought that was gonna be like an interesting twist. Al, what about you? I mean, you sound like you were very excited for that first beginning as well.
Yeah, again, I was like, "Yo, this is," because I thought the same thing. I thought he was gonna be Ghostface, him and this partner. So
Right.
I'm like, "Yo, they're showing us Ghostface. That's gonna be cool because now we know who the killer is. It'll be interesting to see how they play off the other people
Yes.
and what clues we usually always look back on, like on a second viewing and saying, oh,
Mhm.
there goes a clue, there goes a clue. Now we'll know it right from jump. We'll feel like we're on the inside. let's see how this plays out. Like I was ready to see that play out through the movie. And then, like you
Yeah.
said, the phone rings, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
double intro.
Double intro. Yeah. Yeah, man. Because this, even as he's what's this guy's name? He was playing Flash, right? Flash and Spider Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tony Revolori.
something like, yeah, but definitely he was Flash in the Tom Holland Spider Man.
Yeah,
Um, he was walking back to his dorm room and he calls Tara and she's like, "Oh yeah, we'll hang out later or whatever." I'm like, "This is gonna be fucking crazy. We know who the killer is already, and this is nuts. Let's see how they play this out." And I thought there was so much potential. Then he gets upstairs and he gets the phone call. And you're like, "Oh no, you're getting warmer." Oh,
That's
you don't want to
actually
play? I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh,
that intro is actually why I really liked the first couple acts of the movie, because like it set up the idea
right."
that there are people like buying into this idea of Ghostface
Mhm,
for almost different
mhm.
reasons, but the same. Like he did it to kill his film teacher, because she pissed him off. He didn't
Yeah,
believe what she believed in, so he killed her. And it was like crazy to think that we were having like the instance where I actually thought in this movie we were gonna have several Ghostface, but over the same thing, like we were building
yes.
like an army of Ghostface people who are
Yeah,
just
man.
building ideology. And that's what I thought was happening. I was
mhm,
like, this is gonna be fucking nuts.
Right. Because when he dies, that's my first thought was, "Oh, we're gonna have multiple Ghostface throughout this movie." Because clearly he's inspired people, or the thought of Ghostface has inspired people. But then we got into a regular Ghostface
Yeah.
movie, a regular Scream movie,
Yeah.
and all that. Listen, there really, I want to say there was a lead actress, but it really felt like it was a shared lead with Tara and also Samantha,
mhm.
which was kind of crazy because usually you have one person who takes charge and is in control of the movie, basically, and we're watching their experience and how they see it throughout the entire movie. But it was really them two together the entire movie. B, how'd you feel about watching Tara and Samantha the entire movie?
I thought, the Scream movie started with them, in their relationship and fixing that relationship and building it. And so I thought it was
Mhm.
appropriate that, if this killer is after them based on what happened in whatever town it was, I forget. Um,
Yeah.
I thought it was right that it followed both of them, and whatever
Mhm.
happened, they did it together. I thought the ending was corny with how it worked with them, but I thought the lead
Right.
up through both acts was really done well.
Gotcha, man. And Al, how about yourself, man? Following these two characters throughout the entire movie. Usually we're following Sydney or we're following the teens. And
Mhm.
this time it really felt like we were watching just basically the two of them go through because even Mindy and Chad, the other core four, which was
Yeah.
awesome, the core four, they were kind of in the background, plus all the other characters that they were friends with were in the background. Um, it felt like we were just watching the two of them live, be sisters, and figure this thing out together. How'd you feel
Yeah.
watching them two?
Well, there was well, I felt like 2 reasons why I liked the way they did that. One,
Mhm.
I was afraid of, given Jenna Ortega's popularity now,
Me
um,
too.
I thought they
Yeah.
were gonna have her take over.
Right.
So the fact that they didn't and kept it in line with the story and plot of 5, um, I enjoyed. But I'd also liked it for the fact that it did make them equals because in the first one, it was more Sam's character that was going through everything.
Right.
And Tara, the sister, was just more like of a almost like one of the side characters.
Yeah.
But now them having gone through it, found out that it was a family history.
Mhm.
You put them both on the same level, and I like the fact that they did that because now it's a family history that's coming with them to New York.
Right.
And the Sam trying to take care of the sister resenting it, wanting to live her life, and getting out of the shadow of those events. Like I like the way they did that. It was for me. It was smart writing to do it that way and bring them equal instead of continuing like either with Sam in the forefront and everybody else in the background,
Mhm.
or jumping on the well. Jenna Ortega is the bigger star right now. Let's let
Right.
her be in front of the camera most.
Put Wednesday in the front of the screen.
Yeah. So the way they played it out, I thought was a great idea and a great decision.
Gotcha. And Al, how did you feel with the fact that one of the big things about this movie is they did not pay Sydney Prescott. No, that's not a real name.
Sid-
Yo, I always do either
Nev
the
Campbell.
opposite. Nev Campbell. I always do the opposite. I either say the real name for the movie or the actor name for like the real person. Like,
Yeah.
so crazy. Anyway, so Nev Campbell did not get her role again, and she claimed on online that she wasn't getting her due respect as far as
Mhm.
pay. But I can only imagine, because of the way that they wrote this movie, like an ensemble piece, she was really like didn't need her to be in this movie. And honestly, I think they benefited by not having her in this movie, because
Yeah.
it kept the idea of it like, this is who we're looking at, this is who we're dealing with. We're not worried about Sydney coming in to rescue everybody.
Yeah.
And I like that, because now it leaves like the next one we should have Sydney, and they better pay her right too. But but I mean, basically, this is the first Scream where there is no Sydney, very little Gale,
Mhm.
no Dewey.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that, man? Did you still enjoy it?
Yeah. No, I actually like that, and I thought, given the circumstances, they wrote her off right. Oh, let her have her happy ending and everything. Um, but I like the fact that it didn't distract. You would have had too many characters, too many side stories, side plots that you would have had to explore.
Right,
Just leaving, and I thought that was funny. I don't know if that's where the core four comment was supposed to be directed at,
right.
but yeah, no, leave it based on these four characters and how they're surviving. Although how two of them survive, I don't know.
Oh
The
my
two of them are
god, dude.
they basically the equivalent of pin cushions, especially Chad, dude. That's
Oh,
two
kid,
movies. That's two movies.
shit. So, yeah, but I think she hurt herself for coming back for seven because you don't need her.
Right,
You
right.
know,
And so she
Gail.
acts up too much with that pay salary. Like,
Yo,
hey,
six did
we
well.
just did
Six
we
had the
just
biggest. You're not in it, and six just had the biggest opening of any
we
Scream
just did
movie.
this. Don't act up. We could use you, but don't. We got Tara and Samantha.
Yeah, it's a courtesy now.
Dude,
we looking
dude.
out for you.
We're doing you a favor.
They're like, we could have brought you in. When you get paid?
How about for you, B? I mean, listen, you're big on characters that are in movies, and you like seeing your certain characters that are in, because you almost feel like you miss them sometimes. How'd you feel not seeing Sydney on the screen?
I I was, for the same reasons you guys said, I was totally okay with her not being involved, because we're now shifting away from Sydney, which I don't know if this is because of the contract negotiations, but the
Right,
fact that this story strayed away from Sydney, I liked. I just hated how it happened. I hated listen,
right.
she deserved to have her happy ending. So she took her family and they're hiding somewhere. I'm like, they didn't even say a name.
That's not Sydney.
Yeah, that's not
That's not
Sydney.
Sydney.
Like, that's not the
Sydney fucking
Sydney.
Prescott. Of course she has a fucking gun.
Dude, like, it was just last year. It was last year she came back. You mean she's not going to come back again?
In the movie, Brandon. In the movie, Brandon, is 6 months ago. Thank you.
So it's like, yeah. So it's like, it's not believable for her character that she's built. So it's like, it just sounded like an excuse. Like, somehow Palpatine returned, like what?
They did what in a vat? Palpatine's being made? Yeah, no, but in regards to Sydney again, like there's a part of me that missed her, but again, as far as the story goes, as long as they kept it moving, we kept it moving right with them as well. And the story worked without her in this episode, man, because it felt like we're just dealing with these people and that's it. And it was awesome. Now,
Mhm.
dealing without Sydney, we had some other people come in. We also had Hayden Panettiere, I believe her name is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
From
Hayden
Scream
Panettiere
4.
came back from Scream 4. We did have Gail in this movie. We had Chad, we had Cindy, and we had some new characters in there. I think there was there was the love interest of Cindy, there was the roommate, there was
Mhm.
the quiet guy that was friends with Chad, and I believe we had the police officer as well.
And the neighbor.
And the neighbor, the quote unquote hot neighbor. So they were in the movie. And I think the only person that really got shortchanged, but I think of course it purposely done, was the hot neighbor. I think they kind of left him on the side, running in at the last second all the time, because they fooled me, because I'm like, he's clearly the ghost face, and he was not. Uh, but he played his part well, I guess. I mean, he didn't really have any lines except like, "Don't trust anyone." But other than that, you really didn't play a part. So, I mean, to me, honestly, the cast of characters that really stood out to me, of course, are going to be the part of the core four, which is Chad and Mindy. Mindy or Cindy?
Mindy.
Mindy.
Mindy. I think
I
it's
I don't
Mindy.
Yeah,
understand
Mindy's the
Yeah,
how
sister. Yeah.
right.
the core four is still a thing after this movie. I didn't understand how that
Dude,
happened.
they should be the core two and a half. Core two and a half is what they should be. Human walking pincushions. They are.
Jesus.
Dude, I swear, like
Yo, dude,
walking plot armor. Like I don't understand.
dude, Al, out of the side characters there, did you enjoy anyone more than the others? Like, who stood out to you as far as the side characters go?
Um, the girlfriend, the Mindy's girlfriend.
Mindy's girlfriend? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah. None
she
of us
was.
will remember her name, but yes, Mindy's
Yeah, I don't
girlfriend.
remember her name. Only because of the way she went out.
Oh,
Like she knew she was gone, and she tells the girlfriend, like, "I'll be right behind you." So just to give the girlfriend the excuse, Mindy the excuse of
hmm,
leaving and being the first one across that ladder,
right.
because there was no way both of them were making it, and she was already gutted by that point. So
Dude,
Oh,
he lifted
you
God.
know,
her up.
Oh, God. Yeah, right in the belly. Right in the belly.
yeah,
He was doing the fish cleaning. And it was
yeah.
What?
So
I'm gonna
yeah,
get you like a fish.
so for her to go out that way, especially after she was like what 5 seconds earlier crying that she didn't want to die,
Yeah.
Right.
and to know that she was going to and still do that, yeah, because everybody
Crazy.
else was like fitting their role for the movie, just to be
Yeah,
a
I hear you.
distraction.
B, how about you, man? Side characters. Anybody stood out to you, man?
Um, honestly, it's funny when you take the movie in hindsight, like
Hmm.
how all the side characters were involved in some way, shape, or form into something.
Right.
But I will say, in terms of, I mean, I'm not gonna call Gail a core four,
No.
So as a side character, I'd use her. I thought I thought she was badass. Like that whole
Mhm.
scene in her apartment was
Woo.
just dirty. But she was like, "Hold on, let me call you back." That was dirty.
Dude, if you listen to it, you heard oof.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh."
Oof, oof.
That was sick. That was so good.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. So now let's get into it, man. And I'm gonna let you take the lead, brother, man. Let's get
Go ahead.
right into the Ghostface killers here, because there's some believable shit with them, and then there's some unbelievable shit with them. And I gotta tell you, I got thrown for a loop. I would have never guessed the three of them. I don't know how I missed Al, the main Ghostface in this one,
Yeah.
but we are for the first time with three Ghostfaces. So Al, I will let you go into details. How did you know? He said, "Well, they paid him. There's an
Yeah.
actor in here."
Well, no, because he was hardly in any of the scenes, and I'm like, you don't bring. I mean, not that he's an A-list actor,
No, but he's a known
but
actor for
but
sure.
yeah, he's a very well-known actor. He's been in quite a bit of movies. You don't bring him in,
Mhm.
hardly use him, and there not be a reason why he's hardly in the beginning of in any of the big scenes for the movie. So
You
I'm
know,
like, all
Al,
right,
I trust police officers. I guess you don't.
no, and that was the next thing that made me think
That's
he
that
was it. I'm like,
same
all right, I
shit.
don't know. The scene with the daughter, when the daughter supposedly bit it, like I'm like, he's overacting. Like, this whole the way he was speaking when he was talking to Sam and Tara was like it seemed forced. And I'm like,
Right,
he's not, not only that, it seemed fake when he was doing that. So that's the only reason why I was like, all right, something's up with him. Did he really just kill his daughter? Because it only just solidified for me that he was Ghostface. But I'm like, yo, that's kind of cold that he killed his daughter. Like, I was like, all right, it's going to probably turn out that she was adopted or something along those lines.
right,
But the only thing that really made me say, okay, he's Ghostface was that he was hardly there. He always had to conveniently leave to go do something, and then Ghostface showed up.
right.
And then I was kind of thinking the roommate only because same thing. He was never there when anything went down,
Yeah, where were
except
you?
for except for when Mindy got it on the train, and then that's when I'm like, all right,
He's not him.
yeah, it is no possible way it's him. He's on the train because I was at that point I wasn't thinking multiple Ghostface. I was just thinking
Right.
him.
Yeah, I was thinking 1 or 2 Ghostface, never 3. That's when they got me. And when they did the reveal of the friend or the roommate, I don't know, man. That was kind of crazy. B, how about you, man? Talk to me about the Ghostface killers.
I would say only one made sense. Like
Mhm.
I knew the cop was Ghostface because throughout the entire
Oh,
movie,
get out of here.
because listen, throughout the entire movie, everyone is so serious that we have to survive. We're doing this together. And throughout every interaction this guy had, like even the park scene, the park is what sold it for me. He was so nonchalant, jokey, like the tone of his character was so jokey, in this like very serious movie. Like
You
when
can't steal a cop
yeah,
car.
you can't steal a cop car. You guys are stealing a cop car. Like, like just the way his character is portraying himself in this
Right.
very serious horror movie. I was like, okay, Ghostface. Like, he's one of the
Ghostface
Ghostface. And then
right there.
it just made sense that the other guy was Ghostface. Like I was like, oh, they're gonna play like that he's not involved, but he's Ghostface. But the one that
Yeah.
made no goddamn sense to me was the third, was his daughter. That made no goddamn sense.
Dude,
They
did not
worked,
see that one coming.
dude. They fucking tied several shoelaces for that shit to happen. Like, dude, how? I just have so many questions about that. Like, number one,
Oh,
my man is a veteran cop. How did he go so long without his actual name as a veteran cop? He didn't use his real name. And then
right.
for you telling me he fooled the entire police precinct with a different corpse and said that was his
Yeah.
daughter? Like, that's why I was
Right.
like, when she showed up, I was like, wait, no, no. I was like, you're pulling that
Dude,
shit out of a hat.
I I loved when the two Ghostface stood up and both wiped the knife at the same time. I was like, oh, they're twins. Who's under the mask?
Siamese
There's
twins.
twins in this
Fucking
movie.
Siamese
There's Siamese twins. It's Tomas and Lomax from G.I. Joe. Yes. They're back.
I should have known.
They did the same knife thing. I should have known G.I. Joe was in this fucking movie.
Fucking
Oh
crossovers,
man,
god
it was
damn it.
yeah, you gotta it's Frank. You gotta bring it in. Surprises, Oh my god. So we listen. We watched a horror movie that had a bunch of different kills. I gotta say, the New York aspect of this movie made it intense for me because not only was everything close quarters, you're talking about Ghostface in an apartment building with everyone in the apartment. When that guy was across the hall looking through the window, he's like, yo, hey. That was intense. And you're like, they're in the room next door, my G. Like, what? So
Yeah.
that was one. Then the train. I mean, how much more close quarters can you be in? And everybody's in the train and no one's there to notice. Dude, the one thing this movie did right was the different set pieces. Even the freaking ladder from one window to the other window with Ghostface behind. Dude, stop it. This movie
Uh,
was bananas with the kills. Even how about gruesome? The guy in the fucking refrigerator. You're getting warmer. They're like, this was insane,
uh,
absolutely insane. So before I tell you guys my best kill or my best murder or whatever in this movie, fellas, how about you, Al? What was the best? What was the thing that made you go, "Oh shit"?
okay, there was two. Um, One was the bodega.
Oh,
The guy
Bodega was crazy.
when he came out with the shotgun and somehow Ghostface gets it from him and just shoots him right in the face with his own shotgun. I was like,
Dude.
oh,
Oh,
don't show the face, don't show it.
don't show it. Don't show it.
And then the next one was the psychologist, psychiatrist, or therapist. I don't know
Yeah.
what he was, but when he stabs him right in the face, I mean, what was it, like his nose or something, like right through
Oh,
here, through
goodness.
his door? I was like, oh damn. I
Yeah,
was like,
man.
That's a fucking strong ass ghost face, man.
Yeah. That definitely wasn't the little skinny kid. No. That was dad. That was dad.
That was straight up
That
dad.
kill was dad for sure. Yeah, dad knew where to
Yeah.
go for that one. B, talk to me, man. What was the most memorable kill scene or thing in this movie for you?
Oh gosh, I gotta go back to the Gail's apartment scene. Not really for Gail, because that was badass, but for her boyfriend. Because, dude,
Yo,
when they showed
he joked him out.
Dude, when they showed that man on screen, I said, how are they going to kill him? How are they going to kill him? This guy was huge. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want to see them kill him. I was like, how are they going to do it?
How you go from Dewey to Idris? How
Yeah.
you went from Dewey
to fucking
the sheriff
Kareem
with the limp.
Abdul-Jabbar. Like,
Gail, getting it, dude. Gail.
yeah. And then my favorite part is me and Al were saying this too. They're like, knowing who Ghostface was, one of those two kids had to be the one to take him out. It's like, who? Who?
Yeah.
No, it was the girl. Because
That
the
was the
father
girl?
was, I think, across town with them trying to trace, and the
Right.
kid was
Oh, he was in the
somewhere with
van.
one of
He
the
was in the
other ones.
van with them. Yeah,
So that was the girl.
that was the girl.
Like, she
No.
pulled him down with no
Dude,
problem.
I
She
swear-
threw him through that glass.
There
You
is
see, that's where shit gets unbelievable,
that,
right?
that I'm
That's
saying.
where, like,
There's that shit that like when they have the mask on, they are the world's best assassin. But take the mask off, and they're the worst.
and yo, dude, and I gotta tell you guys, in that scene when he's chasing Gail, especially when they go to the balcony, you have your very famous Ghostface shot of him chasing somebody with his arm up, and you just see the Ghostface coming towards the screen. Crazy.
Mhm.
My best or oh shit moment of the movie, and this is not gonna be on the oh shit list of the reallys
Reallys.
this year. It was oh shit, but not like oh shit. Was the skinny kid's fucking death? Well, not even his death because he got up again. But for Tara to put a knife through this guy's mouth and twist, my dude, I was like, whoa. I could not believe that, dude. That was nuts because I was like, oh, he got it the worst. I'm like, holy
Yeah.
crap.
No, Chad got it the worst.
Chad should have had it the
He
worst.
should have had it the worst. But I don't still believe that. My man got stabbed like 17 times. And he was like,
Yo, dude,
just go. Just go.
Yeah, they
Dude,
ran
they
and he
were-
was still getting stabbed.
He was a pinata. They were both on each side going tick, 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 tick. I was like, oh, he's donezo. And then here he is again at the end of the movie in an ambulance on a freaking, what's the thing called?
On the stretcher.
And I'm like, he survived again. This guy is made of fucking like steel.
So he's the
well,
Dewey
clearly
of
not.
this fucking sequels.
Yeah. But didn't the sister also get a little bit sliced up in the first one too? And then she got sliced up again this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But see,
Yeah,
I
dude.
didn't understand her part in this movie when she got stabbed. I'm like, he didn't try to kill her. Like, he was just like, I'm sending a message.
Yeah. That
Although,
was crazy.
did he not try? Because that was a stab and a twist. Like, how
Dude,
do you
that's
think
what I'm
somebody's
saying. But
coming back
it was
from
so
that?
subtle. Like a stab and a twist and just walked away.
Yeah. Chad definitely needs some blood infusions. He is dead. That was the ghost of Chad in the stretcher because there's no way that man survived that shit.
Just go.
And I don't know if you guys heard in the background, but it looks like Gail survived as well.
Yeah.
So they should have took Gail out. If Sidney Prescott is not in this movie, Gail needs to die. But they subverted our expectations with some of those kills and stuff like that, man. And listen, again, the reveal of the guys, they caught me off guard, and I was just like, oh shit. There was a part of me. What is Hayden Panettiere's character's name? Is it Gabby?
Kirby.
Kirby. So when they get to the end of the movie and she locks the door behind them, and the police officer calls Tara or Samantha and is like, "Hey, we just got word back from the FBI. Kirby's never worked for Kirby got kicked out the FBI a long time ago for mental issues." I was like, "Oh shit, she's a ghost face now." She loved
Yeah.
horror movies and all this stuff like that. So I was really caught off guard with who was really the ghost face, and the reveal of them being Richie's brother, sister, and father from the last movie. I thought was pretty interesting and cool, man. I honestly think they really pulled it off. That could have really been cheesy and corny, and they really pulled it off, man. I really applaud the writers for Scream Six because they did the damn thing on this one, man.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts, Al, on the movie?
Just that the way they ended it with Sam putting on the mask and her father, you can't do two movies of the father like supposedly somehow being in her head
Mm-hmm.
and not doing a
Not pay that
twist
off.
where she becomes Ghostface.
Yeah.
So for seven, and that's what I would like to see them do for seven is have her be Ghostface, and everybody thinks, as a result of all these two movies, that there's no way she's Ghostface. So, oh, who's killing us? How are they doing it? How are they finding us? How are they getting to us? And it's because it's been her all along, and she's dealing with two personalities.
Oh, Al.
Like
That's exactly my
that
thought.
to me would be a good twist. Like
Well, you
have
too
one of the
be.
potential victims,
Uh-huh.
from multiple movies. Like it's like saying, or if you're going to bring Nev Campbell back, bring Nev Campbell back and have her be Ghostface.
Oof. No.
Do something
No.
like that. Like if
Sydney
you're really
can't do it.
throwing if you're throwing all the rules out, like they said in this one, oh, it's a franchise.
Yeah.
All the rules are out the window.
See, I feel
Yeah, man.
like you said,
Bring
Al,
Sydney
Oh.
back as
I
as
feel like they've
Ghostface.
been building Sarah to be like a dual personality thing. So kind of like what they were trying to do with Scream 4. I think they're gonna have
Mhm.
Ghostface come back, making kills. They don't know who it is, and it turns out it's her other personality as Ghostface.
Gotcha. Well, I'm hoping for another movie that I think Brandon, you kind of mentioned or Al mentioned it, where the beginning felt like there was going to be a bunch of Ghostface killers.
Yeah.
Now that they went for three, I'm like, maybe there's a team. That'd be fucking insane. But I think might be too much because then it's like everybody's dying.
I mean,
Like,
but like
everybody's dying.
if you expand, like I mean, this movie started off with multiple side characters, and so if you
Yeah.
find a way, kind of like Scream 5 started off with a lot of characters, if
Oh
you
yeah, yeah.
find a way to expand the amount of characters, barely any development with them, just enough to get to know them, and
Mhm.
give them a setting like New York again, like that, the perfect setting like that, like a jungle, you know, and it could
Mhm.
work having a team of ghost faces because there's just so many people they could pick off.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking honestly, if I could choose a location, it'll be somewhere like tropical, fucking beaches. We got to get Ghostface out of these small little Long Island towns and now New York City.
Ghost faces in
I want to
Cancun.
see Ghostface on the beach. There we go. You're not safe, even on spring break, bitch. Also, the last thing on there, I don't know if any of you guys stayed to the very end of the movie. There was a post credit scene that just made me feel stupid for being there. Did you guys know there was a post credit scene?
Yeah.
I I think I looked it up and they said, and the sad part is they said it's not worth staying for, but there is
Yeah.
one. I stayed
Yeah.
for it.
So when I Googled it too, it was like, yeah, there is one at the end. And then sure enough, I'm sitting there waiting. I'm the only one by myself. I'm like, this is when I get killed. This is when I get killed. There's gonna be a ghost face in here going, look, waiting for me to wait for the post credit scene by myself. Because everybody's looking at me like, this is not a Marvel movie, dude. I'm like, I saw it online. And sure enough, man, it's Mindy's in I guess it's probably part of her earlier when she was talking about the franchise rules of the new horror movie that they're in. She goes to them, she goes, not everything needs a post-credit scene. And then they end it. And I'm like, so then why'd you make a post-credit scene? I kind of felt like when like Captain America was just like, some things are worth waiting for. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't it. This ain't it, Cap. Yeah, I felt like a schmuck, but
Yeah.
I love movies, so that's why I do it. Yeah, man. That was fantastic, man. So listen, let's go quickly into the next segment of our show today, which is we're going to be talking about The Last of Us season 1 finale. Again, we missed you guys last week, so we didn't get a chance to talk about episode 8. So we'll do like a little bit of an episode 8 and 9, which was the craziness of the two episodes combined. I know a lot of people talk about episode 8 in the game, and they were waiting for us to see it in person because it dealt with cannibalism. It dealt with, you know, is it pedophilia? It was just there was
Pedophilia,
a little bit of everything in that movie. This one
Yeah.
guy was a fucking the devil himself. So like,
Basically, yeah.
he was literally in a fire hell. But anyway, and then it led to the season ending, which I thought was deep. It was crazy, and it was like, wow, I can't believe all this stuff is happening in one episode. Um, I don't know if you guys, we're not going to go for beat, but like, B, what was your overall thoughts of the season? I mean, season 1 wrapped up in 9 episodes. What you think?
honestly, I think this was one of the best adaptations, if not the best adaptation of a video game I have ever seen. It was incredible. And for the people who
Right.
complain that there wasn't enough infected, realistically, you're watching a show, and they have to,
This guy.
and I said like, like I thought about it, like, when I'm thinking about the game, like there's infected everywhere. But I'm thinking, oh, you have to play the levels to get to the cutscenes. And we got
Mhm.
expanded cutscenes, And so for what they were able to do with this story, make it not only faithful, add more to the lore of the Last of Us kind of concept,
Mhm.
cement some things for people who play the game that didn't know certain things, and just make it goddamn awesome. That they did
Right.
such a good job this season. And I love the foreshadowing at the end of this season that really sets season 2 for me. I can't wait for it.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, I gotta say, I enjoyed the entire first season. But again, you're talking to someone who didn't play the game and just kind of heard how good the movie or the game was, and very interested in the fact that it was going to deal with these infected people, kind of like zombies, almost like thing. So my expectations were pretty high for almost like a Walking Dead kind of thing, and it was not that. It was actually a piece, and I think Al has said it more beautifully than anybody else has. It was showing people trying to live, showing what living is in an apocalyptic world. And it was awesome to see people keep trying and striving and aiming to live. And the freaking twist at the end where Joel made a choice there that I don't know if I could make if you think about the greater good. But it was just like, wow, this is insane. I personally would have appreciated a couple of more infected scenes and some crazy stuff. But again, how many infected scenes can you have when you're really just looking at two people? You know what I mean? So then they're always going to win. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you either had to add more people for people to die off, or you're going to kill one of your main characters. So it's like, do you really put that many people with the infected? So it's like, I wish I was saw more infected things going on, but I can't lie. The writing was intense and it got me invested in the characters, and the characters were amazing. Al, how about yourself, man? Your thoughts on season 1?
As a whole, great. I can't, like B said, I can't wait for the second season.
Mhm.
Um, Especially hearing that they're probably gonna, like we were saying, season two will be the first half of the second game, and then 3 will be the second half of the game. But for me, like you said, I haven't really played the game past the first intro.
Right.
So not knowing anything that was going to happen here, episode 8 played out well for me. I thought they did a great job. However, after hearing of what happened in the game during those scenes,
Hmm.
looking back on 8, it felt rushed. It felt like, maybe they should have thrown some more infected where they should have, to build up more of why um, she was so impacted from the events. I mean, not to take away from the fact that there was a near sexual assault at the end of the episode,
Right.
but the reason why that was even more so damning to her was because apparently in the game she had trusted him because of a bond that they built over, trying to survive and him saving her and helping her. So if they had showed that development of trust, which in that episode they never did, they never show her trust her.
No.
Um, so I mean, they never show her trust him. So episode 8, I would have liked for them to have made that 2 episodes and either made this either a 10 episodes season or cut off from the Kansas City episode and given this one more time to breathe, this storyline more time to breathe. But then leading up to the 9th one, I thought that was good. It felt like the game, like when Joel was running through the hall, just shooting everybody.
Yes,
And it
sir.
was crazy. I felt like I was watching a fight scene from the game.
One shot
But
every time.
yeah. But unlike you, I keep hearing everybody online, Joel was wrong, Joel was wrong. I don't know if I could say he was wrong because
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
I'm
actually
on.
my next question. Now, tell me, man, when you put yourself in that situation, are you taking the greater good, the possibility for humanity to survive and fight off the cordyceps,
Yeah.
or you save this girl?
In the context that remember, that's his new daughter. In his mind,
Yeah,
that's his daughter. She's replacing. You hear him. All he's doing is talking about Sarah, but it's because he's replacing Sarah with Ellie.
yeah, he's more
And you
comfortable
have the
now.
Fireflies say maybe. Like they're talking like this is a definite, but how do you know it's a definite? You haven't done no tests, you haven't done anything. The guy only
Right,
knows whatever what's her name? What's the woman's name?
Marlene.
Joe Marlene. Marlene. Like he only knows whatever Marlene's told him. So there's no way he can be certain
Hmm.
that this is the cure. This is gonna save everybody. So now you're saying, all right, let you kill someone who I now view as my daughter. And that's what I'm thinking. I have a daughter. So I'm thinking, you're asking me to let you kill my daughter for a
For
maybe
maybe.
cure. Yeah, for a maybe
It
cure.
was a hunch.
Yeah,
And yeah, and you haven't done that. What you haven't drawn blood, you haven't taken a test, you haven't done anything to see what the likelihood of this is. And you want me to say, yeah, go ahead and kill my daughter? Nah, that's not happening. And they didn't even get her buy-in on this, so she thinks she's just having blood drawn. So I can't say he was wrong for that. Like you're telling me, yeah, if you had told me 100% we're saving everybody, even then I don't know, kid. I mean, you're
right.
telling me my daughter. I mean,
I hear
granted,
you.
you're a greater good and everything, but you're telling me my daughter. Yeah, kid. I don't know if I'm making that
Yeah,
call. I don't think he did anything wrong. And
I hear
you
you,
put
man.
yourself in that situation, your kid. Yeah, greater humanity is being saved, but that's your kid that has to be killed in order for it. It's a tough decision.
So
I mean that.
yeah. They needed to put me out a little bit longer, brother. You should have had me wake up after the procedure, brother, because
No,
I
kid. Not only that, she knows how crazy this motherfucker is. Why did she let him live? Let
Took
alone
him out
wake him
right
up.
there.
Like, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
kid.
dude, he wigged out. Bring
Yeah.
B, talk to me, man. What'd you think about Joel's decision? Did you know about Joel's decision beforehand, and did it play out the same way you thought it would?
Yeah, so this is a scene that I've seen in the game. I actually watched my buddy play up to this point. So I saw this
Okay.
ending scene and it was like beat for beat. Um, and I
Wow.
completely agree. Like my man woke up and the first thing he said is, "Where's the girl?" And they were like, "Oh, listen, we've got the cure, man." And you're like, "Oh, how do you know?" It's a hunch. It's in her brain. We just have to take her brain out. Oh, okay. Bang bang. Like I'm not playing this game with you. Like no,
Oh
I'm
my
getting her
god.
back. I actually thought the scene where Joel kills Marlene, I thought that was dirty. Cuz
That
like
was crazy.
I took it from his same perspective because I was like, you know what? She seemed to have been on my side. I'd let her live. But the idea, like, they'll
Yeah.
keep coming if I don't do something right
Hmm.
now. So I'm doing something right now. Like, that was
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I know. Like you both said, I think it's a difficult decision. You put yourself into that role, and you see this person as your daughter, your son, or anything like that. And I'm pretty sure none of us can make that call. Yeah, everyone could talk great, a big game, talk about, yeah, we'll do it for humanity. Yeah, the fuck you would. Yeah, sure. So we'll see about that. Now,
I've
I'm
seen
I, I
some things
am
people have
very
done for
interested.
humanity.
B, you hinted at something that you said that towards the ending you saw where this is going to go for season two. Elaborate a little bit for me, B. What did you see, or what do you think is happening for season two
So I don't want
besides part two of the game?
I don't want to give away a major spoiler of the second game because that'll probably
Okay.
be a big focus in season two for a character you may get introduced to. We don't know yet.
Okay.
But there was a scene towards the end of the episode, and if you know the second game, there was a part where they slowed down and kind of zoomed in on a specific somebody, and then it took a little while for them to pan away, and that was a big spoiler for the second game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go rewatch that shit now, Brandon. Thanks.
Now, well, it's not going to be obvious.
It's not
It's not
No,
obvious,
going to be
okay.
but they
obvious.
they really slow down for a
It
second
is
and
if
they
you
pan
know.
on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not it's
Oh,
If
not
you
you
know what
so
bastard.
happens in the
obvious. Yeah,
second game.
I was like, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
if you know, you know. Actually, yeah.
B, did you hear that the person who plays the character you're referring to was in that scene?
Really?
Like the voice actor. Yeah, the
Oh
voice
yeah, it
actor
did
for
actually
the
sound
character
really
you're.
similar. But actually, I
Yeah.
actually really love that the last two episodes they have included the voice actors into the show. That's
Yeah,
been top
that's been
notch for
awesome.
me. Both Ellie's
Yeah,
voice, Joel's voice, that was awesome. And you know what? You're right. I remember that voice, and it's the same voice. So,
Hmm.
that's interesting. F you two for knowing too much. And then listen, let's just wrap this up today because we're doing the last thing here, which is Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And it's coming into a little bit of like turbulence here with what's going on with DC and also how the DCEU has been leaving itself with the last few movies. I am
Hmm.
super, super excited to see The Flash come June or July. I forgot when it's coming out exactly.
June.
But then you it's what, June,
June.
right? I thought it was June. So I'm like, super excited to see the Flash, but I'm not as excited to see Aquaman 2 or the Blue Beetle and also Shazam Fury of the Gods. The trailers leave a lot left to be desired. If we remember the first movie, we had the Shazam family was created, and it looks like the Shazam family is still here. I was never big into Shazam in the movies, in the comic books. I always knew Shazam by himself. I never knew there was a fucking Shazam family. I was like, whoa, Shazam family, it's five of them, and they're like the Power Rangers. So I was like very surprised at the end of this movie. What I do remember from Shazam 1 is that I loved the movie. I thought it was a good movie, well done. And to be honest with you, some of the reviews that people who have seen Shazam Fury of the Gods, it's been pretty well received. So I'm interested to see it. Not really high hopes. I think I've seen too much shit because I think there's some kind of trailer that shows Wonder Woman now. Why is that released? Why is that out there in this world? Please don't do that. Stop doing that. And for the people who didn't know that, I'm sorry, but I know it, so now you know it. So, so B, talk to me. B, any? Are you looking forward to Shazam: Fury of the Gods? Is there anything that you like really are hoping for with this movie?
honestly, I don't have like an interest. I think
Right?
I generally the villains that we've seen. I don't know if there's anything new or a surprise villain, but the villains that
Yeah.
we've seen just don't do it for me. Um, I actually really didn't like the fact that
Isn't it Lucy Liu?
yeah, it's a bunch of gods, right? And Lucy Liu's one of them, and they have a couple other
Well, I
people.
think
Yeah.
it's Lucy Liu and Meryl. Not, I was gonna say Meryl Streep. Is it Meryl Streep or Judy Dench? I thought we both were wrong. Yeah,
Helen Mirren, I think.
Helen Mirren. There we go.
There it is.
The old ladies from Hollywood. One of them old hags.
Oh no! Oh no! not the
Sorry,
lady.
take it back. I take it back. I take it back.
But I also really didn't like the fact that they introduced the Shazam family in the first one. Um, that should have been saved for
Me too.
this movie. The Shazam family is like a big thing in DC Comics. Some of them have really big ties with Darkseid and Supergirl, and it's a whole cool thing with I think it's Mary Marvel. She's one of the sisters, and I would have preferred they did it in this movie. So I wasn't happy they did it in the first one. I felt the first one should have just been him. And then now this movie, they've already have the Shazam family. They have these gods, and it almost seems like I don't know why you can't wrap this up. You know?
Yeah. And Al, I know you've mentioned a couple times that you're not really looking forward to anything in DC right now because you
No.
just feel like it's kind of like a mess. So why would you care and all these
Yeah.
things like that? With the recent news that the reviews that are coming out for it say that it's good, it's well worth your time and stuff like that. Are you, any more higher hopes for this movie, or it's still like I'll see it but not really care?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll watch it, but there's real no significance. Like I think they're throwing that Wonder Woman tie-in just to bait people in and give them a reason to come watch it.
Right.
Because you've already said if she is going to be Wonder Woman, it's not for many years because you still have to do that. l- Um, the story of her island. Don't ask me I forgot the name of the island
The
she's from.
mascara.
That- So that show has to come out, and that's not coming out for a couple of years because um, those events are before she was even born. So that show has to come out before any part of Wonder Woman in this new DCU comes into play. But the fact that they're leaving her cameo in Shazam, but took Cavill's cameo in The Flash out, to me, it just reeks of there was something personal with Cavill in
Mhm.
this decision because you're leaving. Um, what's his name? Batman is in The Flash.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, you have both Batmans in The Flash.
Right.
So if you're going to have these other worlds, you could have left that cameo in and then explained that, oh, that was the Superman from one of these other worlds.
Right.
And then here's our new Superman. Um, the fact that he's the only one that they're not tapping for any kind of a reprisal after having made him go on air and say he was, I wonder how much of that is a slap at Dwayne because of what he tried to do behind the scenes.
Right.
And because Cavill was a part of that, he's collateral damage.
Yeah,
He
it
got
feels it
lumped in.
definitely feels a little bit
It's
like
starting to
they're
feel
out for
personal.
like
Yeah.
almost personal revenge or some shit going on there.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right, especially for like again, do we know these actors personally? No, but the person that he shows to be in interviews and even the movie roles that he takes, Cavill seems like a good dude. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like you want to believe what you see and is who the person is, and for someone that's a good dude doesn't deserve to be like taken off of certain things, and
Yeah.
especially if you're gonna reboot the shit anyway, who the hell cares? Leave him
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. If the end of this
Right.
resets everything, then what does a little cameo in the middle of the movie do? Nothing.
Right.
But to your point, why watch Blue Beetle? Why watch Aquaman? Because apparently, Momoa is going to be another character in this
Right.
new DCU. So Aquaman becomes now irrelevant. And so does that Shazam and Wonder Woman's appearance in it. So I'll watch it because, like you said, it's getting decent reviews. It's supposed to be a good movie for what it is. But because it has no bearing on anything after, it's almost not when it was supposedly supposed to be part of this whole big universe,
Right.
almost serves no purpose.
It almost feels
Gotcha.
like this was like the
Yeah, man. I mean,
oh sorry. It almost feels like this
no,
is
go for
like
me.
the setup. Like I feel like this was being set up for a while now because when we got the announcement of Shazam 2, and the Fury of the Gods, and we got these villains, these are like nobody. Like this doesn't progress anything forward.
Right.
And this was announced way back when. So it almost felt like it was a throwaway from the get go. Like there was no plan of getting Black Adam into this or having anything to do with that. Like, it seemed like they had no faith in
Right.
where this was going for a while.
They manifested it into shit.
Yeah, they did. They did.
I hear, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, if you don't believe in it, why should we? Why should we?
Yeah.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hopefully see the Fury of the Gods Shazam Part 2 movie this week. Again, no guarantees because so many things has been going on. We got a lot of stuff going on in our lives right now. It's kind of a busy moment in time. But we will do our best to definitely see Shazam Fury of the Gods. If we do get around to seeing Creed 3 at some point, we'll definitely review it and put it up there. But listen, if you guys are watching or you are listening to us on your podcast app or you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and also send us an email. Let us know what you guys thought or comment below the YouTube page. Let us know what you guys thought of Scream 6, of the finale of Last of Us. We're always interested in seeing what you guys think. So we're going to be saying goodnight here. So coming out of Long Island, New York, we are the Real Fan Review. Saying goodnight is my brother B,
Adios, everybody.
our man in the chair, Al,
Have a good night, everybody.
and myself, Hob, saying goodnight as well. We'll see you guys on the next podcast with the Shazam Fury of the Gods review, and maybe even a little get you ready for John Wick Chapter 4, getting a 10, getting a masterpiece review, getting the great reviews from everybody. I'm so fucking hyped for John Wick. And then we're going to see Shazam just to get to next Thursday faster. So, so yeah, we'll get you guys ready for John Wick Chapter 4. We'll talk about the dog and everything. All right. We'll see you guys on the next podcast. Until next time. Got him like a fish.